bracket game. You know what I mean? So I think there's a lot on the line for this particular game. Yeah, can't wait to see it. We do have the facet Cauterize, which kind of damages him and then heals him after a while, right? It's pretty strong. It's the Berserker's Blood facet.
Okay. Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see. You know, maybe. I don't know where or why, but I've definitely sort of seen this kind of idea messed around with. But, this is going to be fun to watch.
Celery is carrying a smoke still.
Yep.
Also walked out to place a ward here. Oh, but they do go for the smoke right away. I wonder if they saw that.
Oh, the hack in position. Let's see if we can spot anything out. Both teams will safely get the mid ward down without being spotted. Looks like they're going to see if they can try and grab this bounty down here, but yeah, it's just going to be the 2 for 2 by the looks of it. Nothing crazy. And yeah, neither team looking to try and start a fight. And yeah, so this safe lane, the Clinkz Huskar safe lane. I mean, back in the day, right, this would be a safe lane duo that you would have in a pub if 2 people wanted to pick safe lane and, you know, they hated each other. You know,
back in the day, huh? I think that happens. That happens more frequently than you would expect. Yeah, 2 carry players. Yeah. That's my pubs right here.
Yeah. Let's see what Celery can do. I mean, if you kind of theorize it, we've got with the Clinkz and the Huskar. I mean, these two, they've got pretty good harass right with the spam. You know, sort of between these tar bombs and these burning spears. They are going to be kicking out a fair bit of damage. The question is if it's going to be enough to sort of annoy this Darkseer bat lane, or if Dahak's still just going to have an easy time playing his lane. Because we've got to watch Dahak, right? Because he did have a few tough off-lane performances yesterday.
Yeah, I think the lane is not weak. That's for sure. I think just having the fact that you have double range, you have a lot of harass potential from both guys is going to make your lane fine. I'm more curious what Huskar ends up providing as the game progresses, right? Sure. He might do well the first 4 minutes, but then now what, right? What's the game plan with this Huskar? Why are we picking this particular hero, right? Is it, how much of it is like a draft bamboozling effect, trying to get the opponent to pick something they wouldn't otherwise be picking, or is there actually something good about this? That's what I'm curious about.
As we've seen, they managed to catch the creep wave, bring it round, and we're going to see this early rotation from Antares off the back of that, swing over to mid, and a very nice little play, turns up, and is able to set up to get that first blood secured against Arbed. So nice little move there from Antares, which kind of works off the back of the fact that they were forced away from that bottom lane. He makes it into something.
Yeah, that's very well done, honestly. And I wouldn't mind seeing him continuing to do that, right? Where Darkseer just can actually just cut waves freely against Huskar Clinkz, right? Nothing is really going to stop him from doing that. So imagine if Batriss continues to bully the storm. That could be really devastating for MOUZ game plan here. Clinkz look to be in trouble here.
Yeah, setting up, they've got the vacuum. Well, they should have the kill here. So another
Huskar
kill
too,
set up by Antares. I mean, they could get the stickies on him. Few stacks. Doesn't have much mana to play with Antares, but will have a few right clicks, and he's going to get it. This bat is breaking the game already.
He has boots and 500 gold, by the way, at 2 minutes.
At 2 minutes, yeah.
That's pretty crazy. He has a win lane, so he could just walk back to base here and not really lose anything. Like, play a very efficient game here early on.
Yeah. Yeah, Dark's going to have the lane in decent position. He's got this wave pushing in against him. So not a bad start at all here on the bottom and the mid, really, thanks to the movements of Antares on the bat. See top lane. Good setup here with the reel in. With the blood grenade down onto Eki. And should be able to have him. And well, they'll get the kill between the two of them. Zeal might be able to find Rain in return. He's got the goo on him. Well, the Dukes, though, Rain's going to make him work for it. In fact, should be fine. Still got a salve at the ready, so not even going to get the kill in return. Another kill here for VP.
Yeah, great start. Look at Antares as well, again, doing another smoke here, getting a deep ward in and setting up a potential go on the storm again here.
Yeah, this is sneaky.
This one might be a bit harder though.
See how much Arbed steps forward. The smoke's come off now, so yeah, and Arbed's going to be safe this time.
Now, he has such a good start on this bat. It would be really unfortunate if he starts running around too much and thus falling behind. I think he would be good, but just going back bottom and continuing to pressure this lane and make sure to get a lot of stacks out, things like that, right? Because sometimes I think you can have such an amazing start and then suddenly be very low level, despite that fact.
Yeah, we'll see Celery come across to... Oh, make sure that Water Rune doesn't go the way of Antares. But still, Lorinov does get the space to get the Water Rune bottled up top. Antares now he's got the level 3 and Celery only level 2, looking pretty dead on this one. So slowly get burned down by the bat. Maybe he can get towards Roche for a deny. He's going to try, but the damage is already done with the iron shells to Hack. Getting the kill there off the back of Antares, staying on top of Celery. I mean, so far, it's early days, but we're not being blown away by the Huskar support. We're saying this one.
No? Yeah, it's not looking that impressive right now.
Yeah.
I think it's also just one of those heroes, perhaps, that if the enemy team is smart, they don't fight you early on, like we saw, where they just cut waves and drag and, you know, don't really bother. Because Huskar doesn't really have much of a plan B, right, at that point. He's actually queuing up the armlet, so he's just gonna transition, I guess, into a normal Huskar. That's the idea.
Okay, yeah. The normal Huskar from your pubs. The so-called support Huskar. I mean, this is great stuff. I mean, top lane, V-Tune gets the kill. We saw the constant spam, and it's kind of working. You know, there's Nagasara and Lina lane, you know, sort of between the setup of the ensnare and, you know, bringing them in with the reel in. Sets up for the light strike arrays and such, so that they've got, you know, a decent catch here between the two of them to really punish these two heroes if they get caught out of position.
Yeah, the Lina Naga is definitely one of the stronger combos laning phase wise with the Naga.
Now they should get Ryan here. They did step up, and Arbed was in the area, so able to finally get themselves a kill on the board here, MOUZ.
After all, though, the Klinks is complete free farm down here, and is closing in on the top net worth here. But very good start for all of VP's heroes. Mid lane again. Huskar might die a third time here.
Top. And this setup, it's really nasty. They're going to be able to kill Zeal once again. I mean, it's just if they stagger sort of the control between the ensnare and the light strike, that's a good fair few seconds of which that V-Tune could just beat into them. We'll see this rotation from Cut coming up top. He's got his eyes on him. Can he kill V-Tune? Light strike will hold him back for now, but V-Tune is going to try and juke through the tree lines. Won't succeed in escaping the attempts of MOUZ as he goes down. So nice little move there from Cut to make sure that V-Tune's game slowed down a little bit after these kills that V-Tune was getting involved in this top lane.
Yeah, that's a very nice rotation from him, for sure. Meanwhile, though, the VP took down the mid tower. Huskar ended up getting gone on. He survived with the Berserker's Blood facet, which actually ends up healing him quite a bit. So maybe this is part of the idea that this hero becomes simply tanky and hard to bring down. But yeah, the mid tower does go down, and that's a big win for VP overall. Lina does die, but I think he's back at it already, farming, right? So it's not going to be that hard for them to recover from that one.
I'm sure the next move is going to be from MOUZ still, trying to just clear up some of the jungle. Needs to try and catch up a little bit. Both him and Arbed having the slower starts on the cores here so far in this first 7 minutes. See Arbed. Let's look at towards the mid, but doesn't really have enough mana to make this play happen. Actually, nice. He's got 19 one charges. Enough. Already out there. Timing's coming in for the 8-minute power rune, and should be VP having control of this, as indeed the rune is going to end up top. Nice one here for Lorinov. Grabs himself the regen.
We actually see the Lorinov having a much better game than we saw yesterday, and yesterday he went for the blade mail, and it looks like he's going to eye up that item again here.
Well, nice TP there from Eki. Heads up. Yeah, I'll be interested to see if he continues for the follow-up afterwards, though. I feel like the Blade Mail, but then obviously what yesterday we had him go for this Blade Mail straight into Lincoln's. I'd imagine he does something a bit different this time. Bottom, the hack gets caught. It's another kill for cut. So Clinks already getting involved in these early plays should put him on track to hit a pretty solid Deso time in this game, which of course he's going straight for after the Falcon Blade. Looking for the Deso rush this game. And so, yeah, Vichun just pulling back to safer areas now. Being a bit more careful around this top. Still very much the catch-up game for Zeal. He's level 5 at the moment, 2 levels behind that of Dahak's Darkseer on the other side of the map. It's going to take a bit of time for him to climb back into the game.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's actually a big problem for MOUZ. The fact that Zeal has such a bad game here. They can't really play much around him. It's all on the cut to make something happen here.
He's finding these opportunities. Nearly gets Antares there. Definitely been quite the nuisance. He's actually going to find this Ancient stack pretty low HP, and he might just be able to finish off all of these. So after all the efforts there of Dahak, that's the big ones pretty much taken down by the Clinks as Cut gets in and steals that all away from him, at least the gold.
Bottom room, Storm might get caught here. They have the damage.
So they've got the chains into the Estella, drop the wall as well into the vacuum. It's not quite enough though. Abed able to zip away safely. That's even with the wall permitted, not enough damage to try and take him down through the limited lockdown they had between those. Back to the bottom, they can. I mean, what would you in this sort of game is what you imagine there's pressure on one of these lineups to play it a little faster?
I don't think there's pressure right now. I think maybe a little bit on MOUZ, just because looking at Batrider and Ember, like this type of heroes, when they get the time to get their core items, they become very scary on the map. But I don't think they can really do much about it. I was just looking at like an update for Celery, right? And yeah, he's just kind of juggling the Ancient and farming, so it's gonna be fun to see if he can actually manage to transition to become like a factor in this game, or if the fact that his armlet is gonna be so late is just gonna make him just a free frag in the team fights.
Yeah, because to sort of see the value of it, we've got to see him just sort of turn up with that armlet and just never die in the team fights, because any sort of death in the middle of the fight when you have Huskar farming as much as he has been to get the armlet, it's definitely going to feel like a bit of a question mark. But we'll see. You know, maybe he pops off and those 2 deaths are the only deaths Celery's going to have this game on the Huskar. We'll find out.
It's even if he does die in team fights, if VP has to use a lot of spells on him and a lot of time taking him down, right? It's good enough.
All right, has got the song. So they want to set up aggressively for this. Yeah, they're going to step up and try and do something. They've got the wall down. They're going to have the vacuum. It's only going to catch on to the Clinks, but they're fine with that. They just want to make sure they can guarantee the kill on Cut. Eki, he'll get away. They don't care. They get the kill that they wanted. They get the Clinks.
Yeah, that's the most important kill on the map for them, for sure. And actually, we saw a nice song setup there. They do have a lot more ways to play around it this game with the wall and the Nina stun, right? So that gives them the... For bottom lane, we have Celery getting jumped here by the Batrider. Can you actually kill him?
Or
who kills who here?
Well, there we go. Easy for Celery. With a little bit of help from Eki.
That's his armlet.
Yeah, now he's got it. I mean, if you couldn't kill him there without the armlet, if you got some toggling going on as well, you're not going to be able to make that sort of play against the Huskar again.
He's level 9 now. After these camps. This is it's pretty good. I mean, he's becoming a core in this game already.
If this continues to work out, as you said earlier, this is going to be pretty painful for VP, losing against these kind of new age strats.
New age, yeah.
Bots online now for Vichun, so his farm's going to be able to kick up. He's got between the bots the Chrysalis, As you said, the sort of the song setups, they have got ways to get VTune involved in fights. Because that heavy sort of burst as well could catch the Huskar off guard as well. So it could end up being an easy kill if Salu's not too careful with the arm that plays.
The Crystallis first is also kind of something I haven't really seen before. They're going to go on Seal here.
And he did not have initially a Remnant out, so still takes a bit of a hit on the way out there. Neki wants to try and go for this, won't be able to chase on. Antares kills off Zeal. And back in the river, power shot. It's going to be off the mark. Dahak will manage to surge away. So, yeah, up top. It's like the two of them with the Laguna Blade burst of VTune, able to take Zeal out once more and continue to hold his game behind the rest of the cores in this match.
Yeah, I was just looking at the Lina item build, right? It's not. I don't think this is something that's that normal for Linas. At least I can't remember seeing the Crystallis first. Usually they go Maelstrom, right? But maybe this game it does make sense to just get that that crit out really quickly against Huskar, against Bristleback, perhaps. Maybe that's the idea.
Yeah, I guess what they so just the straight single target DPS with this, maxed out with Fiery Soul stacks, with that incredible attack speed, means that yeah, if you do get your hands on someone right now, you're going to tear through most of these heroes. So they definitely have to respect that.
Oh, by the way,
out from VTune.
If you click on Storm Spirit, you're going to also see something kind of unorthodox here. Queued up, at least. Now, is this a bait, or is he actually going to go Manta style on Storm Spirit?
I guess it could be tempting. What, against the Searing Chains, against the Ensnare? You know, you've got these couple of routes that he's going to want to pop something to get out of. Doesn't want to go for kind of the longer cooldown reliance of like a BKB.
Okay, just seems pretty expensive for a Storm to get a Manta, but I would love to see it. Why not?
I see they were looking for action here with the smoke with the Blink Dagger on Antares, but not going to find anything. MOUZ in very, very safe spots, safe areas of the map.
We do have the Blink Dagger timing here on Bad Weather, so VP has a lot of ways to start the fight now. They have a good ward here, scouting the Clinks out.
Oh, they get the lasso. That's a beautiful one. In with the chains as well. They're in on top of Coco. He's stuck on the cliff. He's dead. Nice play there to come out with that blink from Antares. Secures them the biggest kill.
So basically, the way VP can play now is that they can keep pushing in the lanes with Ember and Naga, and then every time and Darkseid as well for that matter, and then every time the Bat Rider has lasso, they can go for a pick off, right? So I think it should be very easy to play the map and the game in general for VP. It's hard for me to understand how MOUZ is gonna force the fight. Maybe they could look to do some kind of Roshan attempt or try to, around the Tormentor timing. But right now they're playing on a much smaller map than VP, and you can also see that reflected in net worth growing the last few minutes here. They're going Rosh right now.
I mean, they're thinking about it, right? Because between the two of them, they can, and it's risky, of course, because Salu's going to be dancing around on minimal HP with the armlet toggling. So maybe not when the full lineup's alive, but if they get some kills, could be appealing. They're looking up top towards Antares, but he's already out with the blink, so he's away from this play.
But basically, if Storm is not there to jump as the start, they don't really have a way of catching, right? You see them smoking 3 people up there to the Bat Rider, and they don't have a way to catch onto him, so he just blinks out. So maybe the play is to go for Roshan and try to get a fight this way.
Let's see if VP are aware of this or able to do anything about it. I mean, they do have Song.
They do. And Ember,
they could try something here. They're going to see that Celery is very, very low. He'll have to back out of the pit for now. Jump in from Antares. Roshan not quite low enough for them to do anything about themselves. He's going to go for the lasso onto Zeal. Drag him back into the light strike. Do they have enough damage to bring him down? They certainly do with these crits coming out from VTune. That's the Bristle dead again.
And they committed so hard for Roshan that it's 1,000 HP now.
And now they get the change onto Eki. See jump over towards them. Song gonna come out in position. Ryan's looking to set up, see what information he can get, who they want to go for first. They'll drop the wall down onto the two of them. Light Strike Array coming in a bit early, but it doesn't matter. They still clean up the 2 kills. Celery and Eki to fall, and maybe even cut. Antares in on top of the Clinks. Antares will die, but if it gets them the kill, it's absolutely worth it. Tries to jump over to safety, but he'll still end up falling. As it was such a risky play. I mean, of course, they have the potential to go for Roche with this Huskar, but doing it when the whole team is alive on VP, that's a risk. We're going to see them try for the steal. He's not going to be able to time it, though. Aegis and the kill both go the way of VP. He's going to try for the TP out, but the chains are going to catch him. I didn't think it could get any worse, but it does.
Yeah, what a disaster for MOUZ, honestly. It's also, they try to go for this Roche play, and like we just talked about, it's so hard for them to actually make something happen on the map that they feel forced. Yeah, but and then they don't have any team fight in that draft to back it up either, right? So when Huskar gets low, they have to abandon the pit because they cannot actually take the fight back to VP. So yeah, it's really hard to see how they are going to be able to come back in this one from here.
Yeah. I mean, I guess they go for that because they feel kind of desperate. They were like 3 to 4K behind before that play goes down, but I don't know if they needed to try and take that big of a risk because it's just such a huge risk, right? Especially when you're playing against these highly mobile heroes. You know, Ember Spirit can easily get into the pit. There's a Blink Dagger on a bat. There's a Song of the Siren on the Naga Siren. So many ways for VP to mess with that attempt, and mess with it they do indeed do. Getting the Roshan, getting the Aegis themselves, and getting plenty of kills. They can keep the pressure on, taking this tower off down top. They're going to be pretty much close to a 10k lead coming into the 20 minutes. And the items, they're flying out. BKB now on V-Tune.
Yeah, I just don't think there's any threat on VP on the map, and I'm sure MOUZ must have felt that as well. That we can't really make anything happen. We can't farm. We can't fight back. We can't really. We try to smoke, but bat blinks away. We gotta do something to try to get back into this game, because this is not like a long-term solution to winning the state of the game. Crystal again here. There's nothing he can do.
Kuka's gonna try and fight back, but it's looking more and more desperate. And well, what do? They do get a kill. They get Rhine.
They get
but
the
they're losing
Naga,
2 cores as they're off-lane and the carry dead.
It just felt like the second the Clinks died in this game, it felt more or less apart. It was really him that had to carry the weight of this game. Can they also catch the Storm top lane now?
Or did they just get the lasso?
Nicely done. They're just everywhere right now.
This is looking rough. MOUZ, how do they sort of pull this one back? I mean, they have struggled as a team in some of the other series that we've seen from them. And it just feels like from what we've seen, it's unlikely that they're actually going to be able to pull together as a unit and make the moves required to try and get back on this one. It's looking increasingly harder and harder as the minutes pass here for this lineup.
I mean, we talked a bit about it briefly in the draft, how their heroes don't really have any innate synergy. There's no real hero that plays well with each other. Perhaps you could argue Storm and Windrunner can make some plays in another draft, right? With the Storm sip in and followed up by Power Shot, but that's pretty much everything that there is of synergy, in my opinion, of this draft. They're all just singular heroes that, you know, yeah, they don't have enough stuns, they don't have enough team fights. It's just, like, what do you do as a Windrunner in this game? Right? What do you do as a Bristleback? It just feels like there's no purpose for any of these heroes.
They just have to sit back and watch the towers get taken down. Tier 2 on the top getting beaten by V-Tune. Still got a minute and a half to play with the Aegis.
Bat is also, it's such a scary hero when he gets to this point where he has a good game. He climbs up the network, starts getting like 4 staffs and Blink Daggers. Storm again.
They're gonna catch him. They're just making a look. Okay, the neutral creep's got him this time. Somehow against those 3 heroes, the neutral creep steps up and takes the kill. Anything could be more punishing for Arbet. It means he's dead that little bit longer.
We also have a Blade Mill on Bristleback now. That makes him a bit more annoying to kill. The top lane, the Huskar is gonna get jumped here.
Yeah, they found him. Maybe some toggles? No, not going to happen. Same time, they do manage to get something themselves, MOUZ. They have managed to kill off Lorinov, so Considering the last 5 minutes, you know, that's big news for MOUZ. It's something.
Yeah, that was a nice setup from the Windrunner Atos into Shackle, right? So that's actually a decent catch now, but it does require VP's hero to be somewhat out of position. It's hard for Windrunner to set that up in normal circumstances. And as for Darkseer, he has a Crimson Guard and soon a Pipe as well following that. So they're going to be very tanky when in the 5-man situations. I wonder if MOUZ doesn't look like they have enough damage to get through that.
Cut. We'll find the tower bottom. And now with the Ember back in the game, have to be cautious once again, MOUZ, as VP could come hunting for them once more.
Oh, did you know that the Naga Aghanims actually gives Snare a break?
That could be pretty nice right this game against the Bristle.
It does look pretty good.
Yeah,
maybe that's a part of the reason why they picked Naga as well into the Bristle. Or was it? Did they pick Bristle into Naga? Now I kind of forgot. I think that was actually the draft order. I think that was the order.
Naga came as the 3rd pick, I think.
Yeah, and then Bristle came after that, I think.
Okay.
But that's why he's eyeing up the axe, I guess.
Yeah, he's like, well, if you want to pick these, you know, the heroes reliant on passive, look at that online for him.
So Lina is just gonna hit high ground here. No Aegis.
Oh, they could look at just getting that bottom wave push around. They're going to maybe sweep through this lower line, see if they see anyone farming down here. But as it is, on the top side of the map, that's where Cut's found the safest place to be. As push continues. Who's going to be able to get V-Tune off the high ground? Speeding away the tier 3s. Not much fear at all with the amount of backup that he has.
This is also a nice setup. This is where Naga becomes very strong, right? When you have this really fat Lina, and then you just have the Naga song ready behind her with Solar Crest. That's why it's actually looking like a very strong hero. Because how are you actually going to enter this fight without BKBs? It's very difficult.
We've got a little bit of a wraparound coming in, but already the jump's been made. They're getting on towards Zeal, they're dragging back. We'll see Eki and Cut considering getting in from the side. They're going to go for it. The Ghost Scepter's there from Antares, so Cut has to turn his attention over towards V-Tune. The song comes into play though, onto the 2 of them, sets them up for the wall to surround them. The Guna Blade flies out from V-Tune. If they burst through the 2 of them, they catch out Celery. There's no defense to be had here from MOUZ. As the barracks going to be taken down. VP, they can certainly look for more if they want. The tier 2's already gone on the top. They can look for the tier 3 in the second set there. It's definitely a back to the drawing board game for MOUZ, this one.
Yeah, I would think so as well. I don't know. You gotta pick a lineup where you can actually play the game and make things happen, fight back. I feel like this is way too gimmicky, too reliant on VP overreacting in the draft. I would say, which they did not do at all, right? Maybe they had the idea that it was a Huskar 5. Maybe they just didn't care about the fact that, okay, if you're gonna put Huskar mid, that means you have a Storm, 5? And then, okay, let's just play the game then. We can deal with that later on. We don't care about the Storm 5. And they just decided to not worry about it.
They're not worrying about anything at all here, VP. They are certainly chilling. We're going to see an attempt here from MOUZ to try and get some sort of catch. They close the gap on towards V-Tune, trying to burst through the Lina, but the lasso's there. They burst through the Storm in return. Arbed dead for 50 seconds. Vacuuming onto the 4 of them. The Remnants flying across as this game surely over for MOUZ. The buyback will come out from Eki, but the carry's dead. Cut to fall. And Celery, he'll try and bring down Antares with him, but the Ghost Scepter's there. Antares is going to be fine. He'll cut them out with the Glimmer Cape, but little bit Celery. Antares able to force her way back to safety as Lauren off and Dahak can look to chase Celery down. V-Tune ready to swing back across to get involved in the kill. Another one for him on the Lina. As they're running out of buybacks here, MOUZ, the 3 of them dead. No buybacks available. VP can bring in the top lane as the creeps come through and look to take at least the second set of racks, maybe the game.
Yeah, I think they barely even scratched the Nino there going on him. There's nothing you can really do at this point.
Yeah, especially and that was when his BKB was like not available to press even. Like, if you can't kill the Lina, you can't get even anywhere close to killing the Lina, even when she doesn't have the BKB ready to pop. It very much summarizes how tough of a state the game's in for you.
Certainly, certainly.
VP, we've just got the option of swinging around, taking that bottom lane in. Roshan will be up in just under a minute.
Get the Windrunner here.
Yeah, all across the map. Maybe, I feel like if you are MOUZ and you're kind of just not considering like your heroes, do you think there's some of the heroes that we're seeing for VP that have to be taken away? Because I feel like this bat pick it's just kind of too easy to roll with. You kind of want to grab it yourself or not let them have it.
I also think Bat offers too many good things in Dota right now.
Yeah.
It's just too strong in lane, and this catch that we've seen Antares do in this game is too much, and he's so good at stacking as well. So I think you banned out Willow, you banned out Silencer. I feel like you would rather play against those heroes than Bat if you were to ban in a support. Next game though, there's a good chance that MOUZ will choose first pick, as I believe that is the preferred option for most teams at this point. So the draft order will change, and maybe I don't think VP will give away Bat. I think, if I remember correctly, Eki is used to be a Bat spammer, was very good at Bat as well. So they called it GG.
Oh, there we go. Well, that certainly was a game there for MOUZ. A rough one. A rough one indeed. Obviously, if you look at the positives, VP, they're feeling great. You know, they turned up in C. If MOUZ can bring it back against VP, down one game at the moment here in the lower bracket, a loss here would mean that this dream of TI for this year for MOUZ will be over. So they've got to clean up their act here right now. And against the VP, they looked like they were coming into day two, so pretty hot. Could be tough.
Yep, aggressive move in here by VP. Wonder if they're gonna stick around here and look for some kind of first blood. Not a move that we see that often, I think, this type of move. So, could catch them off guard. Okay, never mind. They know right away. Smoke pops, reveals everything.
Oh, they won't be walking into that.
That kind of gives up a lot of information, right? The fact that the Tusk shows himself gives a lot of idea of where the wards could be. Probably on the right side of mid lane. Yeah, you see Eki there, you know, going for it. Just by the nature of them being in that spot means that the chance of them putting on the ward on that side is, yeah, it's pretty high.
The battle begins.
Bounty's just 2 for 2. We'll see the sort of. I mean, Weaver at the moment, Cut's actually going to get that early block in as well. Stepping up, we'll see how long that lasts. Able to at least block the first spawn of the Ancients. Stop those stacks being built up.
Who was it that used to play this combo a lot back in the day? It was popular for a while there.
Or the Weaver.
Yep, that was a team that did it a lot. I can't remember too, but this is a very good start for the Darkseid, to be honest. He just got pretty much the whole way for free there. Not that that would have perhaps changed that much in this lane, but still, they get the pull off as well.
And let's block the camp on top of it. And with the pulls that MOUZ is going to be able to make, MOUZ will be able to meet the range creep at least. And we'll get the denied despite Antares' attempts to snipe up with the shards. And then on the bottom side of the map, I mean, what do you sort of expect out of this lane? Is this, like, how safe is this safe lane for VP? Can MOUZ bully get kills?
I think it's slightly Radiant favored early on, and then as the Beastmaster gets more and more levels, the boss become too annoying to deal with. But I think you see how strong the heroes of Radiant are right now. They are.
nearly getting Eki there. Eki having to back up. He's got a couple of tangos left on him. And so far on the CS, no struggles here for VTune. Very easy time in the first few waves. The mid matchup, 10 for 2 against the 7 and 0. Lornoff has got the creep wave pushing in on him, so with these accounted for, he's going to be pretty close to that of what Arbed's getting so far.
Definitely a better start for Arbed this time around. No annoying Bat Rider killing him level 2 or whatever it was.
Now we'll see if Antares sort of gets that same freedom to do anything on the Tusk this game, after he's sort of secured Dahak that early start in the lane. Could be another situation where the Darkseid could be left alone, unless they do want to try and play aggressive and see if they can find a chance to get kills against the Weaver and Aya. Which could be possible, especially once the level 3's there, if they can get the setup and get on top of them with the two of them. The Io in particular. Bottom, as we're seeing, this sort of duo, it allows Rain to be very aggressive with the Death Prophet, because he can just get in, he can rely on the Siphon. If they try and turn and throw anything on him, VTune's always going to be there with the Aphotic Shield.
Yeah, must be feeling really good playing DP in this lane.
Yeah, like you shouldn't
just
die.
bully
Right?
both of them. Yeah, I mean, if you die, it's I'm sure you've dealt a lot of damage and to the economy of Shaman and Beast.
VTune going to be very happy with how the lane's gone so far. Very little MOUZ can do to slow the Sabaton down in the early game. And Rain just going to be able to chase Eki down, and Eki doesn't want any of it. He's going to go for the TP out.
We actually have Tusk moving out to top rune here, securing it for actually the TP from Eki also on the rune. It's going to be big if Ember doesn't get the rune here.
Oh, he's going to be able to pick it up in time. And
Nice shot, actually.
He's got the snowball available. They do have the three of them here. Good connection with the change as well onto Arbed. But Arbed will be able to stand his ground with a sustain of Celery and get the first blood for himself as they'll bring down Antares.
Very important by the, remember the Shaman TPing out of bot, that he didn't TP base, right? He TP'd to the outpost so that he could go for this whole sequence here with the bounty rune. Water rune. So well done by MOUZ, helping out Arbed a lot better this game. He's up to a really good start, giving him first blood in a game where he has IO backing him up as well. That should be good.
Nice. In terms of supports, we'll see down bottom. Talking about the support, Zeki will get met with a warm welcome from VP as he heads back towards the bottom lane. On top, Dahak left in the 1v1 against Cut. I think both are pretty happy about this. Dahak's able to get the free farm, and Cut shouldn't be under too much pressure just against the solo Darks here. See another TP back into the map here from Eki. Maybe considering if he can get an angle in on the mid. See if we can catch Lauren off guard here during the night time.
Doesn't have a point in Hex though, so it could be hard. Yeah.
I'm not going to get anything this time round. And just a bit of a trade farm here on both side lanes. Bottom lane, 23-3 on Zeal. A bit more here on VTune. Zeal at least not dying in this lane. Did have, of course, a few early deaths on the Bristle in the last game, so definitely a cleaner scoreline from this time, but very much not being able to slow down the farm of the battle. We'll see in the mid, they really want to try and get Lauren but Lauren got a shield rune and the flame guard. Can they kill him through it? It's taken a lot, diving in under the tower. TP's now finally coming in. They won't be able to kill him off. They try and go on him, but the shield rune, it's enough to keep him safe.
Yeah. But still a lot of pressure with the catapult here. So this is also really good stuff from MOUZ. Look at that ward, by the way. Right next to the tower.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
I guess very much, yeah, preparing for the idea that this tower is not going to last too much longer.
Yeah, also just knows that there's gonna be sentries everywhere, right?
Sure.
And
yeah.
just if you can spot the shaman just slightly before he catches you, then it's good enough. Wisdom rune though.
Dahak wants to
Also
fight
looking
for
to
it.
invade here.
So TP's coming in as well. Eki trying to stand his ground. Abed jumps in. Looking to burst through Dahak. He'll get him with the pullback. Can he survive to stand his ground? No, Abed's got to be careful. The wisdom will go the way of Lorinov. We see Cut joining the fight. In with the Shikuchi. Turns towards Antares. They bring the tucks down. Now with the sustain and celery fueling up the mana of Abed, they're able to pressure Lorinov to have to jump back towards the mid lane. Lorinov will get out of there. Now VP, they did manage to make sure that the wisdom did stay firmly in their hands. And able to keep Lorinov alive for the jump back to mid.
Yeah, I mean, we see the power of IO Storm, right? From this last engagements here. Definitely a lot of mana for him and very hard to bring them down. But they do end up getting the wisdom in the end.
Are they going to get another kill here? Right. Taken out here by the two of them. Level 6 down the Weaver, so Cut can afford to play pretty aggressive to balance the time lapse. As this moment's passed, though, Zeal has been forced back to the base. So the freedom does continue for VTune. Obviously, the good news for MOUZ is the fact that Cut is having a very good game on the other side of the map. He's getting involved in these early kills. And we'll see how much of a problem this abandon is going to be down the line, especially if VTune gets the chance to fully free farm a solid Radiance timing.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Ember's game is also kind of bad at this time with the max flame guard as well. It's he needs a lot of time to recover.
Is under attack.
So it's up to MOUZ to continue this aggression, I think, between the mid and top lane. It's kind of hard to enable the Beastmaster now, considering he has such a bad game. And then you're also looking at this Abaddon, right, in the safe lane with max shield. It's very hard to pressure the zero. But they get to take mid tower here, it looks like, with the double damage from Storm. That's good stuff from us.
Radiant's middle tower.
Playing around Arbed just that much more better than they were able to do last game. Now Arbed didn't get out of the game at all this time. 2-0-1. Taking his objectives and making sure he's everywhere where he needs to be. They're going to look to try and go top to help out Zeal. As Zeal's getting gone upon. Zeal will fall. Arbed should be... Actually, the neutral creep gets the kill onto Rhine. Arbed will at least get the last touch onto Antares. They look towards Vichun. Vichun has got the borrowed time at the ready. But can't, of course, go for a TP out with the amount of interrupts and cancels that they do have. So he's just going to get chased down, killed off. A double kill for Arbed. This is the kind of games that I imagine as a team, when you have Arbed on, this is what you're hoping for, right? When you get him this Storm early in the draft. You've got to enable him and just allow him to take over the game.
Yeah, feels really good for them for sure. That became very expensive for VP, going for that Beastmaster there. Maybe instead they could have... I don't know if they should have gone that deep, right? Against heroes like IO and Storm, you are gonna pay for it. That also sets back the Abaddon's Radiance timing for sure here, and the supports are really struggling for VP. Looking at their levels, they're both 4.5, and they just become food for this Storm IO, right? So imagine they're gonna keep snowballing. Going on Arbed here, but not enough damage.
The snowball over to Celery, see if they can burst through the eye. They can't. The Vortex is onto Lorinov. Lorinov's got to try and get out of it, but he's so low. They'll get another side pistol, but he's not able to get out to the Remnant. He's dead. And see whether a wrap around here for Cut. They might be able to find more. They've got the shackles onto Rhine. It's another 2 kills here for Arbed. He's getting out of control.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta try to not fight, I think, right now. You need to get levels on the supports, but it is very difficult, because where are you gonna get that levels right now? It's not like you have time to sit in lane and farm.
That's gonna be another one.
Supports, yeah, another one here. Nice again.
Another neutral.
Okay.
Tell you what, it's a good day for neutral creeps. They're popping off this morning, and they've already got 3 kills secured for themselves.
Yeah, so VP's heroes in general need to catch up. Like, they need to somehow put defensive vision and, play together until they have more levels. They don't have damage or any way of really fighting back right now.
Radiant's bottom tower.
But that
is under attack.
MOUZ can definitely look to exploit this. By the way, look at Storm's item again. He is going for the Yasha. First item on Storm. Very interesting. Not something I've ever seen before.
He's gonna maybe find another catch here, Antares. Even more for Abed, and the curry on top of it as a little bonus.
Looking good.
How do they slow this down, VP? And it's really getting quite too much for them. Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know if you can. It feels like the whole map is just MOUZes right now.
Tower is under attack.
We did see VP yesterday struggle to sort of bring games back, but they were slipping away from them in the earlier moments, and 12 minutes in to be 5k net worth behind. It's not going to be easy for VP to solve this one. They're going to hemorrhage another kill here, right? Core, I mean, it's getting very close to anyone that shows on the map, and this Storm Io is going to be on top of you.
What sort of timing could we be looking at for VP to try to fight back here? Obviously the Radiance, but it's quite far away. I'm just trying to think if you can somehow play on a like a high ground ward on your own area and fight back. Like we see Daxa TPing in now, so maybe that's what they're. You know, you gotta fight back. You can't just let MOUZ control the whole map and keep killing you like this. Gotta take some kind of map back. So they decided it's around the bottom area that they will try to defend.
Radiant are scanning.
And the four of them sort of hovering around. They'll swing back over towards the mid, but making an aggressive play themselves, VP seems pretty tough. Arbed watching once again. You don't want to mess around with the Storm. Especially when he's got Celery by his side, and Celery very close to having that mech. Once that's there, killing two of them or even just the one of them is going to be so difficult. Try and play for the
They
ring.
can't even get their wisdom. So Tusk is gonna still be level 5 at 14 minutes. DP getting his 6 now though, but I don't think that really matters at this point. Maybe
Yeah.
it does if he's not the one getting jumped and he can, you know, deal some damage in the fight. But the last 3 to 4 minutes, VP literally have been sitting in this type of spot and they cannot get out on the map at all. They need to somehow find a way to do that. Maybe they're waiting for Radiance, get the 6s on supports, Blade Mail up on Ember, like finish all the items that you possibly can, and then do a 5-man move out, right? And try to take some take something away from MOUZ.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, any of these moves that they're trying to set up with, you know, trying to use Lauren off as a bit of a bait in the mid. Just completely, you know, prepared for by MOUZ. They're not going to fall for any of these traps.
Yeah, the problem is also that even though you are hitting some timings on VP here to try to fight back, you have an insane timing for MOUZ right now with the big golem and the Helmet Overload. Manta style up on Storm, by the way.
Good luck catching him now.
Yeah.
Silence from the DP, the chains. He's ready to slip out of those.
Desolate up on Weaver too. MOUZ is so strong. Need the miracle angle somehow to fight back here.
I don't know if he gets caught by any sort of lockdown, he's going to be very dead. And he knows it.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
He's going to get the G-Warp, but does set up and jump on a run. They'll drop the Serpent Wards down. Another one for Arbed. And Vichun TPing in. Has got the Radiance, so will now be prepared to turn up and try and slow down these pushes a little bit better.
Dire's bottom tower is
But
under
Roshan,
attack.
don't think you can really contest that area. It's so hard to move out there. So
Radiant are
he's
scanning.
also gonna die pretty fast with the bugs and the desolator.
Is under attack.
Looks like VP are actually gonna fight back here.
Abed. And they're going to get the regen rune. They start things off very quickly onto V-Tune. They're going to be able to pop the borrowed time very early. They're going to try and chase him on afterwards. He has got back up behind. The silence hits on the two of them. The exorcism's out, but they're still having to run here, VP. Abed looking to chase on forward. He'll close the gap onto Antares as he takes out the Tusk. Pushing VP back and making sure that VP are just not going to be able to have a sort of say in this Roshan.
Yeah, I've talked about the IO Storm in the draft. It's definitely been popping off. Really, really hard for VP to deal with. This combo is still legit. Nobody's really playing it except MOUZ, I think. So
Radiant's middle tower.
showing that this is still elite.
No, they can just make so many plays with this. The global presence, the consistent sustain for the Storm to play out on the map.
They both have soul rings, right? So it's so much mana if you think about it. The amount of mana you can get.
Yeah, you're basically never going to run out of it. There's the Storm.
Yeah.
You'll always have enough to chase and finish these kills. And find another one. That's right. Caught again. Maybe he can get the neutral creeps to help him out. Not this time. Abed still gets the kill. 10-0-2. And at this point, even cut able to farm wherever he wishes, especially with the Aegis. Very little threat from the Raw. Comes out on a V-Tune. See if we can walk out of this one. We're going to have Antares stepping up to try and help out. The borrowed time is there. Wall's going to get dropped. V-Tune should get out of this. Antares, of course, left behind. 15-3. The kills just continue to rack up for MOUZ. VP getting shaken up big time in this game too, similar to the experiences they went through in day one of the qualifiers yesterday.
Really speaks to also how fragile the drafting is right now. Both these games were very snowbally.
Radiant's bottom tower.
It's really going to take a big mistake from MOUZ, it feels. Now, maybe if we sort of get Abed or Celery like zipping in, relocating up to the fountain, VP are going to get a chance to turn this one, but outside of that, very hard to sort of see a way back in for VP.
There's no real counterplay for VP, even when MOUZ
Under attack.
kind of goes in and extends. It doesn't feel like they have enough lockdown, enough damage, enough anything really.
Yeah, so maybe they can kill the other heroes other than the Storm, but trapping and killing the Storm seems pretty much impossible. There's another casualty, Antares.
It's also the problem is that if you don't kill the Storm, like he's always the one going in first, right, and giving vision of everybody, making it so easy for everyone else to play. They are smoking up here, gonna get a shield run.
Gonna try and go all in ready for Zeal, but on the back lines, they've already been caught in return by Abed. He's actually running a little lower on the mana this time, so they'll kill off Zeal. I mean, if they can sort of get these kills with no losses themselves, this is going to be pretty huge for VP considering how far behind they are. Can they get something more? They're going to look towards Eki. Abed jumps across, gets to grab onto V-Tune. V-Tune able to turn though. That's going to be Eki going down. V-Tune took the borrowed time at the ready. Abed actually having to zip back a way out of this. Cut going to continue to try and come in to kill off Ryan. Will get him, but that's the Aegis gone on cut. Chains connecting onto Abed, rolling forward as well. The snowball, they catch him with the stun. They'll kill him off. It's a huge kill as they end Abed's streak. The gold going the way of V-Tune. Under the tower, the dive continues. They're in under the tier 2. They've caught Celery. Another huge kill to find after as clean of a game as he's had up until this point. VP somehow managing to break sort of MOUZ down one by one there and get huge benefits from that.
Yeah, wow, what a turnaround. What a great smoke. finding exactly the target they needed to. And finding a short moment in this game where MOUZ did not have their formation ready and they did not have map control fully, so good stuff. Maybe we have a game on our hands here.
Yeah,
maybe it's not just gonna be a snowball.
Now, if they're able to pull that sort of off again, I mean, that lead could very quickly disappear. Now, VP shaking up MOUZ big time in a way that I don't think MOUZ was expected to be shaken up at all, with how simple of a game that they are having so far. And that biggest sort of death there definitely being that of Arbed going down, the money going to VTune, pretty much going to fuel this Mantis guy. Just a recipe away now on top of the Blade Mail that he picked up after the Radiance. MOUZ back in action though. They do get the Tormentor. They're going to immediately come out with a smoke. See what they can find out on the map. They'll make the move down to the bottom half. And at the moment, VP, they're not there. They're staying grouped up around VTune in the mid, ready to try and push on to take some of these tier 1s themselves.
Yeah, I mean, props to MOUZ for not getting deterred, just going straight for Tormentor and getting back at it. But I think something we talked about during the draft is that VP does have the superior team fight going into mid-late game, right? With the Darkseer, the DP, Abaddon, these heroes are very hard to fight into. So we shouldn't be giving away too many more fights if we're MOUZ. Like, we really need to close out this game in a clean fashion, I would say. It can get more and more tricky as the game progresses.
Very close to having the Force as well on Antares, so it's going to be quite a big thing. And it just sort of breaking people away from the initial jumps and zips from the Storm, giving them a chance to survive. And MOUZ, they did get the creep wave pushed round towards the bottom lane, but definitely not looking to try and jump the high ground anytime soon. They probably want to get the next round of items done. We're going to have the Witchblade being gone for by Arbed. Zeal very, very close to have with the pipe coming out next. So getting those additional auras online that will give them a bit of a better chance at not getting caught out one by one and dying in the same fashion they did in that last fight to VP, making the jump on them.
Yeah. The thing is as well that even though they do have good team fight on VP, this game is still going to be continuously hard to play on the map. The Storm is so fat, the Beastmaster, the Shaman, there's so much catch and damage, like, that you pretty much have to go as 5 all the time, meaning MOUZ will get an increasing net worth over and over when there's no fighting going on. They're just going to be able to farm so much more of the map freely compared to VP. We also have a Darkseer also buying a Blade Mill. So we're going to have, how many is that? That's 3 Blade Mills, all 3 cores.
Well, yeah, I like that, right? It's going to be very annoying for both the Weaver and the Storm, who obviously have a super high damage output, but both of them, they don't want to be hitting into Blade Mills, especially for the Storm, right? If he's getting in there, dropping these 4 static remnants and hitting 3 heroes, they're popping Blade Mail, he's going to take an insane amount of damage back.
True, same with the Weaver, Shard, and just like when you click the double hit, right? You might die pretty quickly in return.
Yeah, that's very, the Shard could, as you say, that could really screw the Weaver. Because you can't really control that, right? You know, you get in your Shikuchi and underneath the team, they all pop Blade Mails. When you're coming out of that Shikuchi, you're attacking them whether you like it or not. He's got to be really careful with that.
Also, the later the game goes, perhaps the harder it is to start killing these Tusks and DPs, right?
Yep.
That used to be more or less free frags. They are now having Ghost Scepters, 4 stars, more HP.
Oh, get him on the cliff.
That's a nice one. Tusk has a 4 star to get him down, if he can walk up.
I'll get him off there. So try and go towards the back lines. That's the time lapse to get out of this one. And they're pretty deep here, VTune and Antares. They'll turn towards VTune. He's got the bar time ready. They'll get the chains out. Onto the 4, the vacuum as well. Onto the 4, into the silence. The wall drop down as well. Taking so much damage here as both supports crumble on MOUZ. The cores now, they have to run. Arbed's out of there. Zeal will turn with the roar. They're thinking about going back in on towards VTune. Can they get him? Get the shield up. They'll be able to kill him off through it. So they are at least able to get back into the 3 cores and get a kill themselves. But can they actually get out? Because Ryan and Lauren are still fighting strong with the help of Dahak. They'll chase on forward, kill off Zeal. I mean, they just got grouped up horrendously there. You know, VP's team fight, the vacuum, pretty much on the 4 of them, you know, catching MOUZ. At that point, it's a bit, it's something that they at least get the V-Tune Baden kill at the end of it, but that is not the fight that the MOUZ can afford to be taking.
Yeah, it's getting more and more hard to fight as 5, I think, for MOUZ. I think they all need BKBs as well in their cores. I don't really like the pipe that much that Beastmaster has bought, because I think that against Daxia, DP, these type of heroes, you actually need BKB to fight back. You can't rely on just there's just too much damage and too much annoying things going around. Maybe Storm can play without it, but I really think Weaver and Beast need it eventually.
Is under attack.
Team fights. Not looking to be their strong point, MOUZ. We saw, obviously, how good their pickoff and early map play was with this sort of IO Storm, the pressure they could put on these side lanes pretty safely with the Beastmaster and the Weaver. But now it's managed to get to the point for VP where they're able to get over that initial hurdle, take that fight over MOUZ's side of the map as we came in towards the mid-game. It's gotten to the stage where the 5v5s, despite the lead that MOUZ have, VP, they're definitely not a walk in the park.
Yeah, for sure not. We actually have an aggressive smoke from VP right now, feeling pretty good from the last few wins here.
Radiant are scanning.
But MOUZ are gonna be ready for this. It seems they are gonna be ready for this, at least the way they're playing. Like, they know something is up. They could find the Beastmaster and the Shaman, what it looks like right now. That's like the ideal targets to start the fight with. But they have very good position right now.
No, looks like they don't want to try and push on too close towards the edge of the cliff here. VP. MOUZ, they're just going to get the pressure on down mid. Maybe force VP
They're
to
gonna hit
back up.
Roshan actually. It might not be that easy for MOUZ to contest this. Looks like MOUZ aren't either they aren't aware of this, or they decide to just go hit high ground.
They're going to check it out now. They're sending the grounded golems. They'll see it. So MOUZ are definitely going to want to do something about it now. Cut, cut, cut. Shows first. What's the plan for VP? Do they want to try and finish this off or take the fight first? V-Tune's going to stay in the pit. And he's going to back out. Cut, 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 continuing to poke at the side. It's going to be the Shaman taken down. And get the silence on towards the Storm. Cut still poking around the pit. The break does start to fall low. V-Tune, he's going to look to try and chase down Zeal. They'll use the relocate to get him out of there. Take him out to the side at least. Back in the pit, they're still trying to finish with the Roshan. Cut is able to snatch the Aegis. VP did get the kill though. They'll get the drag back into the vacuum onto the wall of the two of them. Arbed's able to zip away to safety. Eke to fall and Antares to drop in return. So just the support for support trade so far. The cores though are low. Chains on towards Cut. He'll time that's back, but it is into the silence. It's fine. He's got the Manta ready to remove it. So Shakichi away once more. And the backup's there from Celery, so won't even risk losing the Aegis. They're able to keep that safe. So it ends up just a 1-for-1 support trade. VP, they get the kill, but MOUZ, they do manage to get their Weaver out of there. Cut with the Aegis ready to play.
Actually, a nice little sort of guerrilla warfare by MOUZ there, getting the Beastmaster out on the one side and then going in and sniping the Roshan on the other end of the fight. So yeah, good stuff from them. I think maybe the relocate was very key because they actually got on top of Beastmaster. He would have died if that didn't come through there. But yeah, you still see the issues that MOUZ have fighting into the 5-man of VP. The Abaddon is showing to be a huge problem, bringing this guy down twice without taking huge amounts of damage from the shields, from the blade mail, right? Manta styles. It's not easy. We do have the Aegis on Weaver now though.
With the Satanic on top of it done as well, Cut himself. It's also going to be hard to sort of take down for these multiple potential lives and HP bars.
That is true. MOUZ can definitely kite the fight for longer, right? And weather out the storm of these big spells like Exorcism, the Wall. So maybe that's the game plan for MOUZ. Just continue to kite the fight and let VP waste their big ultimates. chasing very deep here.
And look at the drag back onto Celery. Could be in trouble. This is caught. Yeah, that's going to be the IO getting popped. We'll see the rest of MOUZ maybe considering if they can get anything in return. They're looking at V-Tune. The Blade Mail out still has to borrow time. He's got the backup. Celery's going to come in with the buyback. Wants to try and get involved in on this one. The time that's comes down time for cut. Eki in trouble as he's surrounded. Will die. The ball and the nullifier thrown down onto V-Tune. They've got the 14 drive back. They'll kill off the Abaddon. The chains are out on towards Zeal. Coming in with a slide of fist. Long off the vacuum to hack onto the three of them. They've killed Zeal off. And Tars will get the snowball off just in time at the edge of the fight. Still dives for the Shikuchi. Now Cut looks towards Dahak, but the Blade Mail will force Cut to fall at once, but he's got the Aegis, he's ready for round 2. Arbe's got the control with the drop back, but the surge is up. He'll look to try and run, but the damage from Cut flies through, takes Dahak down. And with the Satanic, can easily remove the silence. MOUZ will still continue to hold strong in the fight. Cut loses the Aegis, but killing him again proving to be very difficult right now. The Weaver incredibly slippery. They did commit the one buyback there from Celery to keep the fight flowing smoothly. So if they can get a push going whilst they've got a few seconds now where VP's just got the 2 alive.
Seems like they're not necessarily going to get anything building related out of this. Maybe they're going to get the tier 3. I don't think they can get the racks, but it's a very nice fight for them. Feels like the Weaver really has to become an increasingly bigger problem here.
He's going to get trapped in the shards here. Cut. He's in trouble. He's not going to be able to press time lapse. They were able to kind of keep him controlled perfectly. So he did not get a window really, unless he wanted to play it safer early on, or maybe he wishes he did at this point, to get time lapse off. He's dead for 80 seconds. And now VP's going to try and see if they can chase more. They're going to get more. The slide chains in on a Celery. They've locked down the IO. Arbe's trying to look to try and turn and help him, but he's got to leave the IO alone. He has to get out of here himself, Arbed. Will at least find an arcane rune. But that's quite the loss there. I mean, you said it yourself that you didn't consider that they were going to try and get the racks because it didn't look like they could, and indeed they couldn't. They lose 2 heroes for sticking around too long, Misery.
Yeah, it definitely felt like also you don't have anything to get out of that shard. It's a very heads-up play by the Tusk there. You don't have the Hurricane Pike finished on the Weaver. You went full out damage and then you went for the Satanic. So, yeah, you're just stuck there. Yeah, maybe a bit too greedy by MOUZ. I just think that the slipperiness of Weaver, like that he's felt the last few fights, has made him a bit overconfident perhaps in that engagement there. Now tier 2 going away a VP and only a 7k lead. It's definitely not as easy as MOUZ would have liked 20 minutes ago when we saw them at 14 minutes getting both wisdoms, and yeah, now it's getting a lot trickier to close out this one. Now Tormentor as well. Another ancient creep as well for VP.
They kill quite a few of those. Definitely getting quite a bit of money from those. 250 gold each time. Nice shot for Antares.
Only 4k gold now. Yeah. So what happened the last fight when they won the fight was also that they popped the Abaddon shield pretty early on, right? Or the ultimate.
Yeah, they went all in on him, right?
If they can do that early, then that's a really good start for MOUZ. However, if V2 can somehow save that ultimate for later, they're baiting the Daxia here.
They're trying to jump him, but V2, he's ready to jump in return. The vacuum ball again is onto the fourth, and they're trying back out from it, but the chains catches onto them. They turn, but the Blade Mail's already out. He's got to be careful of it, taking a lot of return damage from the Blade Mails. Eki's going to get chased out of the fight by Dahak. They'll turn back on towards Cut. He's left behind. No chance of escape. That's the Weaver dead again for another 90 seconds within the last few minutes here, Misery.
Oh my god, that's such a disaster for MOUZ now. You can feel this game slipping out of their hands a little bit here.
Really
this was such a nice bait. This is such a nice bait setup actually by VP, right? Making all of this possible, anticipating that MOUZ would go for this. Maybe also a little bit weird start to the fight, right? You actually showed the relocate before the Hex came in from the Shaman.
Yeah, that did come in first. Right? It was very awkward.
Not that necessarily would have mattered, because the follow-up would have been there to save from the Abaddon, things like that, but I still think it's a little bit very risky, and if you're going to make such a risky play, the execution has to be there, right?
Yeah.
And
That's
Weaver
rough.
just really needing that BKB as well right now. Really needing that pike. So once he gets in there and gets stuck, he's just not getting out. We saw it twice now.
Yeah, definitely one of the two. Yeah, BKB or Pike is just sorely missed at this point, and he's definitely going to be kicking himself for picking up that Daedalus recipe, right? Because even at this point, he might just finish up the Pike before he even gets the Demon Edge.
Yeah.
There's definitely a big slowdown to the game that he was having. Still very much at the top 2 net worth, cut, but those last couple of deaths, he could have been so much further ahead.
Yeah, maybe the Satanic is also an item that has not really seen much use, because the times he's died, he's just been locked down, right? It's not like he gets low and then gets Satanic back up. He's not going to be man-fighting the same way as perhaps, so I think that maybe also is regrettable at this point, but when he bought it, it made sense, I guess, right? He looked unkillable before he just died twice, so yeah, I don't know, can't blame him, but it's so hard to make these item choices sometimes in Dota. Maybe also a reason why we don't see that much Weaver in general is that this tends to happen in games where he snowballs, but then it's hard for him to team fight and deal damage compared to like an Abaddon, who is just such a menace to bring down. Another very aggressive smoke by VP, by the way.
See if MOUZ is ready for this. Ooh, they're gonna get
They got him.
That was in sort of the last millisecond as well, I feel, of him TPing out. They catch him. Unlucky there for Arbed. And what do you do if you're MOUZ?
Yeah, very cool TPs by VP here. Really looking to close down the map and get more kills out of this. There's a buyback on Storm, by the way.
And they've got the wall onto the Hawk. They're going to see if they can try and burst through him, but he's able to get his spells off, so able to drop the wall down. Snowball save's going to come in to keep him perfectly fine, and they've caught cut again. He's in the shards. Oh, the punch. Okay, wait, time lapse back into the shards. You got to be careful with that one. I think either way, he's probably dead. He tries to heal up with the Satanic. It's a bit of a clown fest, one that does not support MOUZ here. Those they're 4 dead, and VP lose nothing.
This actually disaster now.
Yeah.
Like, and Storm had buyback this entire time. I can't help but think that you have to buyback there if you're gonna take the fight. Imagine he buys back and jumps the Darkseer from base straight away there. That's certainly gonna be the kill, and then you're not gonna get the wall vacuum off, and then maybe you can climb your way back into the fight. But choosing to hold the buyback, so showing a little bit of perhaps miscommunication or team being on the wrong, the different sides of what we're supposed to be doing here. Now VP are certainly in complete control of this game. Weaver has no buyback as well.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a rough one here for MOUZ. Definitely, if this continues this way and VP's able to take the win, both games going to be rough for very different reasons. Game 1, you're getting kind of stomped. Game 2, it could have been theirs misery. When you consider that first 20 minutes, right, this really did look to be one that MOUZ should have been able to ride to victory.
Oh, for sure. I think this looked like a free game. You saw it, we all saw it. This level 5 Tusk at 14 minutes. It didn't look like there was much to be done. But I think a couple of bad item choices, perhaps. The pipe on Beastmaster, maybe not going BKB, or Pike on Weaver. Like, not taking the safe route, right? And then a couple of bad misplays, diving the base, things like that with the Weaver. And suddenly we're in this spot.
Yeah, VP's chilling now. They've got 2 sets of barracks. V-Tune continues to pick up these huge items, having just the butterfly into the Abyssal Blade. How do you kill this guy? You're not going to get the hits in. You're going to be missing all your attacks. You just don't have the luxury. There's so many items you need to pick up, and there's so little time with the way that things are speeding up and heating up now for VP. For MOUZ to get the chance to find these pickups. They're going to go for a smoke here, MOUZ. But if this one goes wrong, they're going to get very close to having the game for themselves in a pretty irredeemable position.
Let's see what ends up happening in this fight here. They do have a break talent on the Shaman now, so they could potentially first that.
VP's just in on. He just makes the jump in, catches Eki. They've got to get out. I mean, Eki's going to buy back. but I think it's going to be full retreat here. The snowball still catching onto Arbed into the vacuum, into the bashes to punch the chains. They just lock and kill Arbed off. He's dead. Cut. Can even he get away? I don't know if he can. He's been dusted. The chains are there. Cut to fall. It is not pretty here for MOUZ.
They can't fight anymore. There's just no way for them to team fight into this lineup of VP at this point. Like, they couldn't fight them when they were 8k up, but they certainly cannot fight them when they're 12k down. So, yeah, I don't know what to do. I think your base gonna be under attack here.
Also dead without buyback. The tier 4's under attack.
Yeah. You could buy back on Storm, but what are you gonna do? Nothing you can do as Storm here alone.
He's going to try. I'm trying to go on Lauren off. And the circle wards are down, but what do? They're on your Ancient. And now they're on a Zeal. Zeal's dead. A final zip in really from Arbed to try and slow them down. But they're running out of heroes here. Only the two of them left alive here, Zeal and Arbed, and it is over for MOUZ. GG is called. This series 2-0 for VP. They'll be moving on. And MOUZ, an unfortunate result.